we've got a question from Nick Gertie. He says, when do you find it okay to reimburse past medical expenses with your HSA? After the money doubles, triples, not until retirement? He's investing in VOO, or do we say that VOO? I don't actually know sometimes.
VOO.
VOO. Okay, cool. And then he says he loves the show. So this is taking advantage of your triple tax advantaged HSA deal. So do you have any insight on that?
I do have some insight. But I'm going to hold my insight because we got in a fight about this the other day in the content meeting talking about reimbursing of medical expenses.
We weren't fighting.
Oh, we were fighting. We got in this whole, it was like this heated, visceral debate around Roth versus
honestly, I loved that
HSAs.
Conversation.
It was
I thought it was
aggressive.
very helpful and interesting.
So, Brian, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on when is the right time to reimburse medical expenses from a health savings account?
Well, it's a hard one to answer. First of all, let me give you some peace of mind. Is because we answered this on a number. I mean, it's probably a year or two ago, but we actually looked it up on the tax
we were
code.
Nervous about
it. If you died with a health savings account, you would have the ability to go back and essentially cash in all your, assuming your loved ones knew where your expense receipts and all your fancy spreadsheets were, because that was a concern. Because is there too much of a good thing? And I'm so conflicted on this because I know from just doing research on what type of growth you can expect after 5 to 10 years of investing, it's so small compared to what is the potential after 20 years, after 25 years. So the longer you can keep it in there, that's why I sound like a knucklehead, because I know, Nick, if you're looking for me to give you an easy access point of after 200% or 300%, I can't give you that because I actually know the longer that money works, the more the compounding growth impact works. And like for my situation, I have a daughter that, she goes to a school where there are autistic kids and other alternative learners there, where I get a memorandum every year saying this does qualify based upon the doctor's letter that you have and other stuff, that this is a qualified medical expense for your daughter. And the tuition at this school is it's to the moon. I mean, it's crazy. Big. So I have a lot of runway on how much compounding I could get out of my health savings account and get it out tax free. So I'm kind of letting that money grow. I'm just sitting it and letting it compound growth, and hopefully it will one day be a, high 6-figure, maybe even 7-figure pull out opportunity. But it's going to take a while, and I'm just being patient with it. And I just need to make sure Bo knows where all my spreadsheets are in case something happens to me.
Yep.
But Bo, you sounded like you might have a different take on this.
No,
do you think it's okay if somebody pulls out after 200%?
No, I actually love that. I'm completely in agreement with that because I am of the opinion we all, if we don't accumulate enough medical expenses now while we're building the HSA, I think that HSAs, we're going to have enough medical expenses later on. We're going to be able to get to those dollars tax-free, especially if you're doing both things. Daniel, you have to correct me if I'm wrong on this stat, but I think it said the average retiree today will spend $250,000.
I was thinking it was $265.
Maybe it's indexed for inflation. $265,000 over the course of their retirement on medical expenses.
Yeah.
Well, maxing out an HSA at $7,750, it's going to take a while for that account to get to $250,000. So I'm of the opinion, get the money in the HSA as early as possible, let it grow for as long as possible. And I feel extremely confident that for most people, if you're just doing normal things, right? Like just normal going to see the doctor and saving the bills, and you got kids and saving the bills and all these things, you're going to be fully able to reimburse yourself all of those dollars tax-free for both past expenses as well as future. So I agree with you completely. I think you ought to let the money grow as long as possible. And I think if you got access to HSA, it should be one of the very first accounts that you start trying to get dollars into.
Just something to think about, though. Our maximization strategy that only 4% of the public is actually using, where you're actually investing the HSA, it is a maximization strategy.
It is.
And truthfully, you have to have the cash flow and the ability to where you can actually front end those expenses. Now, if you ever got squeezed, because there's a lot of people losing their jobs and other things right now, this is still a viable place that you can go to. I don't want you at all costs to where you're squeezing your family in weird ways, you always have the opportunity to go pull from that account. I got a comment last night that kind of hit me the wrong way, where somebody was like, when they said, because I guess we had in a show said, with life insurance, buy your insurance, let it be insurance, let your investments be investments. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about term versus permanent insurance in a lot of ways. And and you could tell as an insurance agent, put a comment, he goes, what about your HSAs? And it's back to maximization strategy with the tax code. Because, I
don't understand.
Because if you're using this 4% financial mutant strategy where you're actually investing, they were trying to catch us.
It is an investment account.
But it's not an insurance account. And your HSA is kind of a reimbursement for your health cost.
Oh,
do you see? It's weak sauce.
That's a poor argument. Was it YouTube comment or Twitter?
It was a YouTube comment.
Hey, YouTube commenter, poor comment. That's not the same. Permanent life insurance and health savings accounts, not even on the same wave.
That's a horrible argument. I could see how they were trying to make the point, but it's still, these are maximization strategies. You have to have the cash flow. You have to have the savings, the cash reserves to do it. That's what we are. We're financial mutants. We want to help you think about money the same way we do. And I love it when people challenge us on that type of stuff, because it lets me kind of, there's a reason the financial order of operations is all weather tested. Everybody keeps trying to catch us on things, and I'm like, man, isn't it amazing? This thing that we developed, is quickly approaching a decade ago. It just keeps, it holds up, and it's because it truly makes it through all the different decision matrices you might be going through personally.